Welcome to the Atlantic Indie RoundA'Bout here at CIOE 97.5 FM. I'm your host, Maurice O'Coin, and we are streaming live to the world at www.communityradio.ca. We are going to discuss and celebrate independent artists' music from all over the Atlantic region and beyond. Let's all get on the Atlantic Indie RoundA'Bout right now. This is a very special episode of the Atlantic Indie Roundabout. We're on the road again with Russ Brannon, and I've been waiting to do the show for quite a while now, and we finally managed to get together. It's a pleasure being here today, and you got a beautiful studio, a wonderful music room. It's a wonderful, comfortable, warm place, and I really enjoy being here and chatting with you today. We're going to celebrate your music. A lot of people know you as from the retail end of it, from when you were running the music store, which we can talk about briefly.
Yeah.
But I'm here to talk about you and your music, and your passion has not diminished one little bit. I think that's what drew me to doing this show with you. And of course, you've been putting music up online for us to hear and see. I guess the first thing I'd like to ask you is, like, how are you drawn to music? What are your earliest recollections of learning how to play music?
My earliest recollections, probably number one was when I was young, probably 8, 9, 10 years old. I remember we had an old piano in the house. My sister used to take lessons on it. But one day I was upstairs, and all of a sudden this incredible music was coming out of the piano. And it was my grandmother. I didn't realize she was a superb pianist.
You had no idea?
I had no idea. She used to play for the silent movies, you know.
Wow.
When they,
That's
they always
right.
had somebody just responding to what you see on the screen. So that was influential. And I also had an uncle that sang country and western tunes, and with an old dobro, and that was just magic to me. That sound.
Did he ever have any? Was he a professional? Did he have recorded music that you could refer to or ever listen to later on? Or was it just,
he wasn't
just a kitchen party guy?
He used to record stuff. He had an old wire recorder. Wow. God, I'm dating myself here.
A wire recorder.
A wire.
Why don't you enlighten me on that?
Well, it's a piece of wire that goes past a magnetic head, just like a tape would. But in those days, they did it with a piece of wire. And I remember I was at the house and he had me sing, because I could sing pretty good in those days. I can't sing anymore. But he would have me sing songs, and he played the dobro. It was kind of fun. But all those things just got me thinking that music was cool. So when I was 14, I got a guitar. And that was, I was on my way.
You might as well say, what kind of guitar was your first guitar?
The first guitar was a National 2-pickup electric. It's a weird. Yeah.
That'd be pretty dear these days if you had that.
If I had it.
Yeah.
I bought it at a second-hand shop in Halifax for about $5.
That's something,
That's all I needed to get going.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. I mean, we all have humble beginnings. Got yourself into the bands and playing dances and stuff, and as any teenager probably would have at that point, want to be in a band.
Oh, yeah.
And, you probably have some high school memories of playing in bands, as we all would.
Yeah. Some of my buddies, my school buddies, we formed, band, and we would play at local dances, or play at the school dances, that kind of thing. Yeah. That's
How old would have you been when you actually decided to branch out and actually have your own store and start the Music Stop brand and all that?
That was in my early 20s. Music Stop didn't start there. I was 26 when Music Stop started. But before that I was actually importing merchandise and selling stuff. I was building speaker systems for local bands, PA systems. So I was already kind of doing it out of my home at the time.
And it's all music related.
It's all music related. Yeah. And at the same time, I was playing pretty well full time, making a good part of my living at it.
That's fabulous. The neat thing about having a music store, I mean, it's not like you're moonlighting playing in a band. It's an awesome way to stay connected to what's going on.
Yep.
And I'm sure as the business grew, my guess is that it probably would have cut back on your gigging a little bit, or you would have got more selective.
Well, that happens as you improve your craft, and then you get to play with better people. But by the time I started the store, I was already playing with pretty good guys, some of the better players around town. And then when the store started, I didn't stop playing. I pretty well played full time for years after the store started, because basically that's still what supported us. We kept anything the store was doing, we kept it in the store to build it up. So I was doing like the 6-night-a-week thing, getting somebody else to drive, and I'd sleep in the car all the way there and sleep all the way back, but I was still gigging full time.
That's one part of it that I get, because I was from the generation that we were still doing 6-nighters, and it was a lot of work.
Well, you could make a living at it in those days. I was making a professional man's salary in those days. It was good.
So I guess that's why Sharon must have worked in the store with you quite a bit, because that's probably the only time you'd ever see her.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Boy, you're tired a lot in those days. You're working 2 jobs and just going at it, and it's. But when you're young, you can do it.
Honestly, I mean, as long as I've been in music, I've been affiliated with your store. You're a big part of my life. I mean, in that level too. But when you sold the store, your business formula carried you through to your next phase of your professional career, but you never ever stopped playing music. You've always been busy and active in the music. Like that first song, your craft hasn't diminished, your playing hasn't diminished. In fact, I would hazard the guess you're probably playing better now than you've ever played.
That's true. Yeah, because what happens is, I got more head space, yes, but I got the instrument in my hands more.
That's right.
And the more you have it in your hands, and I pay attention to what I'm doing, I'm trying to learn. I'm not just trying to keep what I had, I'm trying to move forward. And I think I am.
We've already heard one song, Thistle Street. It was a lovely song. Maybe you want to explain the backstory to that?
Sure. Well, first of all, Thistle Street, where it came from as a working title. Sharon and I, our first real house was on Thistle Street when we started the business. It was there so long, it just stuck. And that piece, it has little gospel overtones to it.
It's gorgeous. It is really good.
I'm pleased with that. Paul Vino on bass and me on guitar, and I'm lucky enough to have had Kim Dunn in last week, and he put piano and he put organ on it.
He's no slouch.
Oh no, he's great.
So that was last week.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to start with that, because it's
debut.
Fresh. It's fresh, and that's the world premiere.
There you go. Thank you very much for saving it for our show. I wasn't expecting that, folks.
Yeah.
We'll be right back in a few minutes, but before we go, we're going to leave you with another Russ Brannon song. The song is called Common Ground. Now, if you go check this out on YouTube, you'll see some spectacular video shots done by Russ himself. Great drone footage and lots of video of Halifax and its surrounding areas, George's Island. It's absolutely stunning. Enjoy, and we'll be right back.
absolutely.
You say you're busier than ever, and you've kind of retired.
I got projects.
I really want to hear another song, and I think the next one we're going to listen to is Almost There. Now, I've seen this on YouTube already.
Why don't I just tell you a little bit about it?
Let's do it.
And then we can play it. I mean, this song here, this was a ballad that I wrote, an instrumental ballad. I was doing an album with an American fellow that I met in Florida. He was a smooth jazz artist, and he had quite a bit of airplay down there. So at a jam, he pulled out one of his tunes I played. He said, "Wow," he said, "man, you really get my stuff. I said, why don't we do something together?" When that started, he said, "I know a good producer in LA that would like to be involved in this." And this guy, his name is Preston Glass. So we started the project. We all started submitting material. So I submitted my ballad. What I did to submit it, I didn't have a recording of it. I sat here in this room and I played the rhythm guitar of the complete arrangement, end to end. I had it all in my mind, exactly how it was to go. I then played the melody and a guitar solo on it, and it was all finished. I sent it out to Preston Glass, who was going to be the chooser. He immediately came back and said, "Can I write lyrics to that?" And I said, "Sure." And like the next day I had lyrics, and they were pretty nice. I thought, okay, this is good. I made a couple of tiny little changes, but it was great. So the next thing I hear is, "Who would you like to sing it?" And I said, "Well, I really like Patty Austin, was one of my favorite singers." So he said, "I'll check it out." And he called, he came back, he said, "I talked to Patty, but she's in another album project right now, but I got this person called Amy Keys who could do it." I said, "Who's Amy Keys?" He said, "Just go on YouTube." So I went on YouTube, and the first thing up was Amy Keys and Phil Collins on stage together doing Separate Lives. And she was just killing it. I said, "Yeah, I think she'll do."
Yeah, perhaps she might do okay. Maybe just for the listeners who are hearing some of these names, maybe you might enlighten us on who Preston Glass is.
Well, he's a pretty famous producer in LA.
Yeah.
He's done tracks for George Benson, Al Jarreau, Kenny G, and many other vocalists. There's so many. If you went on his website and looked, it's just like holy mackerel. He's a brilliant producer, and he does tracks. So in this particular tune that we're going to listen to here, he actually did the track on it. I replaced the drums with Dave James because I didn't want a machine drum on it. Preston actually, I think, played the bass on this one. And I had Mike Cowie do the trumpet you hear on there. And the guitar tracks, the rhythm guitar and the lead guitar track are what I sent him originally. I never had to touch it. He just built the whole track
around your playing. That's very flattering.
Well, it was. I was shocked when I heard the track come back. I was like, "What did he do?"
My take on that is that you had an idea, you laid it down, and it couldn't be made any better.
Well, I'll buy that.
All right, there you go. You couldn't play it any better. That's fabulous. So we're going to listen to that right now, and we're going to come back to the conversation. And we hope you're enjoying this evening on the Atlantic Indie Roundabout, and with my good friend Russ Brannon. We'll be right back.
Almost there, yet and still we are mountains away, but we'll climb, and in time we will get there. On we go, this odyssey, all the while, tears and smiles, dreams and our fears, still we deeply care, 'cause we're almost there, close to reaching our heart's destination, seeking treasure rare. Time is teaching us true love and patience, seeing us to the point of being almost there. apart. We'll just brave the tide, and it's worth the ride, 'cause we're almost there. Close to reaching our heart's destination, seeking treasure. Time is teaching us true love and patience, seeing us to the point of being almost there, near yet so far, close but oceans apart. We'll just brave the tide, and it's worth the ride, 'cause we're almost there, almost
Over the years, you've played with some really phenomenal musicians. I know that the next song that we're going to be playing has got an amazing story to it when you're dealing with a lot of people and at once. In fact, let's just talk about it now. The song Latin Road, I'm very fascinated by this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, that came from one day in the studio. I was doing a CD, and I had about 14 tunes lined up to do for this particular CD. But I had one day where I wanted a certain group of guys, because the music I had done that day all sort of fit. You know, I had Silvio Pupo on piano. He's kind of a very great Latin player. I mean, he can play everything, of course. And these tunes were very Latin pointed, the ones that we did that day. And I wanted to. It's always really fun if you can get it all down at once in the studio. I mean, oftentimes
one taker.
Yeah,
that's
one
what that's
taker.
called.
Yeah, if you can do that. Now, most of the time, I'll be honest. Most of the time, we'll get a take that's good, and I might have to go back and either redo it or touch it up. But this particular track here is, I would say, 95% or 98% off the floor. I might have done something I can't quite remember, but the track off the floor was so good, and that was for everybody. Nobody else was overdubbing. There was no other overdubs on this.
It's phenomenal.
So you wind up
there's 8 musicians.
Eight musicians.
That is like getting a hole-in-one in golf. It really is. It's an ace. It really is.
So, yeah, and this particular tune, the way we record it, you were wondering how I go about that. What we did is, when we do, record in the studio for 4 tunes in a day, that's about 2 hours per tune. Well, most of the 2 hours is spent talking about the tune. Here's how it's going to lay out. We're describing the trajectory of the tune and how each section should be treated. So it's a discussion. And then we might even stop for a minute and say, okay, let's just try this little piece, and we'll try that.
You said you wrote storyboards. Can you enlighten us on that?
Well, what it is, basically, I've got a regular chord chart, so everybody knows the chords. But then it's like, okay, we're doing this many choruses of the song. Chorus is the form of the tune, top to bottom, basically. Some people call a bridge a chorus, but a bridge is a bridge, and a chorus is the whole form of the song. So we talk about the form of the song, but the first time through, we're going to do this. We're going to lay it out this way. In this part, the drums are laying out. We've got percussion. This is happening. The bass is going to play just at halftime feel here, and I'll just write that out. It's basically a written out idea for arrangement, and then we talk about it. And I always depend on the band. These guys are great musicians. Some people say, well, what we should do here is this. So that gets written on the storyboard.
Yeah.
Time we're finished, everybody knows how it's going to start, how it's going to end. And if you listen to this tune, it's got this whole opening sequence and it builds and builds, and it gets up into a real groove, and then it winds down over a lengthy period of time.
Yeah.
But it does it beautifully because we're all in the studio, we're playing together, we're looking at each other.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
know the storyboard, but but there's a lot of that stuff is very.
You're getting cues from one another.
Yeah, we are.
Now, you probably hear in the song, from playing it back, you hear the electricity of the musicians. They're caught up in it just like you. This is a one taker, and it's a 5-minute song.
Yeah, you just climb inside of it and go with it. I mean, I play better when I can be in that. In that.
So let's give us the rundown. Who's on that track?
Okay, well,
I mean, it's a greatest hits people.
Well, the drummer is Mark Sear. He's not living around here anymore, and he perhaps is not as well known, but a great drummer. We also had Jeff Arsenault, another drummer, but he was playing percussion on this. I had Silvio Pupo, wonderful piano player, doing the piano on that. Bill Stevenson was there, but he was playing the synth and some of all those textures you would have heard in the background. That was Bill. Chris Mitchell on sax.
Can't miss.
What can you say? Who else? Let's see. What have I not covered there? Oh, Ross Anderson.
Wow, there you go.
Guitar.
He comes
He's
out
my
again.
buddy. He's one of my guitar buddies, and
Playing rhythm.
Playing rhythm. Oh yeah, talk about being intimidated. We were good friends, and we played together for years. I wasn't that intimidated,
The song Into the Light, generally when you make an album and you have the title of the album, it's usually one of the songs that means the most to you.
Yes.
So why don't you elaborate, and then we'll play it.
Okay, well, that was the title song from an album I did. That was actually, this is going back a ways. This was 2003, and title tune on that album, which was "Into the Light." It's a ballad bordering on anthem. You know, the sound of it. You know, and I say that because people have told me that it's like an anthem. There should be lyrics to this. You know, those are the kind of comments I got from playing it live. So yeah, and I think it was one of my more inspired compositions. I mean, they're all inspired in some way, but this one, like a lot of the things I write, it all comes to me really quick. I mean, I don't think I've taken more than an hour on anything I've written, because when I have that seed idea, I just follow the train, and it just seems to go to the right place.
Yeah, it's like you start it up and let it go.
Yeah, and
let
then
it go.
my only problem after that is I got to play it for 2 or 3 times a day for the next couple of days till I really have it in my mind, so I don't forget it. You know,
it's not a walk in the park.
No, it's not. No.
You know, it's not 3-chord blues. It's not 12-bar blues.
No. Let me be clear. I love those things. I love blues.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And I played pop music, and I was in pop bands for oh my God,
years.
10 or 12
years,
or 15 years of it. And I love it all. You know, it's not about that. But what happens is, from all that experience, now these are usually like pop grooves, these tunes, but they're informed by what I did before, but now harmonically I'm getting a little richer because of what I've learned in all the years that I've played, and there is a market for adult contemporary. Most of the major centers in the U.S. have radio stations that dedicate themselves to music like this. We don't happen to have it here locally.
I didn't know that.
Except for you. Thank you.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. Like you say, you've played popular music, you've played the blues, and you enjoy it all. I find this music, I'm impressed by it because, I mean, I don't hear a C major, you know. I'm not hearing a D major. I'm not hearing basic minor chords. I'm hearing chords that I don't even know how to, I can't play those chords. The melodies are incredibly complex and beautiful. Which leads me to the question, you're a much finer musician than you've ever been at any previous point in your life. You're still learning. You're still on the trajectory going up.
Still growing.
You know, you're not just hacking it. Like, you're actually striving to be better and better and better.
Absolutely.
And all the greatest musicians in the world do the same thing.
Yeah, my path has been long and slow. I wasn't like one of these wonder kids. All of a sudden, I was a great guitar player. I had some slow years when I was building my business. I didn't play as much, and that slowed me down. But now I've got more time, and I'm actually putting more into my music. So this piece here is actually, you'll know all the chords in this tune. This tune is quite simple, and when you talk about blues, a lot of what I do is informed by blues, but you're not going to hear a Stevie Ray Vaughan.
No, I understand.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, or stand and walk up the, that kind of stuff.
But the feel, to me, I don't want to play music that's syrupy. Yeah. I want it to have a range of emotion. You know, you want it to be appealing. And you want it to be appealing. Yes, but if you do those things, I believe that people do listen to it and say, "Oh, I get this. You know, I understand this."
I certainly get it,
and I hope they like it. So let's play Into the Light, and
we'd love to.
Yeah.
Into the Light, Russ Brannon, right here at the Atlantic Indie Roundabout, and we will be right back. we've been listening to the songs that you've composed, but you've worked with some other people and you've played on music that other people composed, stuff that you'd be proud to say that you did. Like this next song, How Long? I think it appeared to be a good one to talk about.
This song was written by Doug Mallory. The lyrics, it was written, a good friend of his passed away, Jimmy McPherson. He wrote the song about that. This was a vocal that I put on an album that I did about 20 years ago, and it's sung by Charlie Acord, wonderful vocal on it, and
He gets around.
he does, and Doug Riley's doing the organ on this one.
So the song How Long? Check this out, and we'll be right back.
Yo, Mo, have you seen my bro? You know who I mean, Jimbo. Once a scene. Wednesday, that's the day I broke. He slips away, Jimbo. Once I seen. How long, how long, how long, how long I know that he's gone. That's why I'm singing my song. Why I'm singing my song.
you've played with other people and other people's work, and of course knowing people. You must have another song or nugget you can bring out.
Yeah, well, Ian Thomas wrote "To Comfort You," and I think he had that covered by some prominent artists. You know, he's done very well with the song. I recorded it on this album because I was looking for some material, but I happened to be visiting him in his studio in Ontario. And he was listening to some of my stuff, I was listening to some of his, and he said, I have the tune for you for an instrumental. And it was this piece, "To Comfort You." Beautiful. You know, we actually sat in the studio and played it together, you know, 2 guitars, and I thought, this is great. So when I got it finished, I thought, you know, it's nice as an instrumental, but it needs a vocal. And I have a really good friend, Clary Croft, who's a wonderful singer. He's known more as a folk singer, but he's much more than that. And I thought, I got to get him to give it a go. And he came in the studio one day, and with no problem at all, just sang a beautiful track. And this was another tune, like the last one we listened to. It's a guitar-friendly tune that I got to be able to play a nice solo on it. And the piece is just, this piece really moved me. It's a beautiful piece, beautiful lyrics, and the vocal job that is done by Clary on it is outstanding. And it's written by a great songwriter and a friend. So it had all the ingredients to be there.
I think of Ian Thomas as being a national treasure, really.
He is.
You know,
Oh.
Let's check it out.
All right, we'll do that.
Here it is, "To Comfort You." I mean,
you've been down in the dumps. It seems like forever. Now what have they done to you? Not a single thing's turned out the way you imagined. It all seems unreachable to you. You don't know for the life of you what is missing, or why it always happens to you. Now you don't like yourself, you feel nobody's listening, and you don't need another latitude. For a moment you forget, and a smile comes to your face, but it doesn't last too long. It's like a string you've got tied around your finger, reminding you of everything that's wrong. I won't try to say I know what you're feeling. I won't try to second guess you. I won't try to give advice you won't be needing. I'm only here to comfort you. I'm only here to comfort you. I'd love to be the reason a smile comes to your face, even if it doesn't last too long. And I'd like to take that string you've got tied around your finger, reminding you of I won't try to say I know what you're feeling. I won't try to second guess you. I won't try to give advice you won't be needing. I'm only here to comfort you. I'm only here to comfort you.
Folks, I had a great day today, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm looking forward to hearing it myself on the radio when it's all said and done.
And thank you very much for inviting me to participate.
Oh,
in
it
your
was
show.
my pleasure, 100%.
And my pleasure.
Thanks, brother. Thank you very much. Excellent. Fantastic. We hope you truly enjoyed tonight's episode of the Atlantic Indie Roundabout with our special guest and good friend, Russ Brannon. He's a very humble gentleman, but he's a true master of his instrument as well. I'd also like to remind you that this show will be rebroadcast at 1 a.m. on Saturday morning at CIOE 97.5. And on that note, from our village to yours, stay safe, have a great night, and we hope to see you next week.